Very recently, Tony Khan appeared on the Ringer's Masked Man show and said, "I'm not sure if that's going to happen," in brackets, a WWE and AEW doing a joint show, "but I would be open to talking about that type of thing. It's not crazy, but it's a bold prediction. And because Tony's given us that inch, us here at Cultaholic, we're going to run a bastard mile, so we are, because we are here to fantasy book our bloody fantastic AEW X WWE Forbidden Door pay-per-view. Oh, and if you've got an intro, you can play it now if you like. I don't know if you do, but we'll see what happens. Here are the rules myself and Jack the Jobber have abided by while putting together these very fanciful cards. You're only allowed to pick from the main roster of WWE, and obviously the main one, not the dark and dark elevation rosters of AEW. There must be 12 matches on the card. Everybody on the roster is available. There are no injuries, there are no suspensions, there are no inactive wrestlers for whatever reason, because this is fantasy booking, and as we all know, fantasy booking, it never takes into account real life implications. And on top of that, you can structure the card however you like. You can have a pre-show, you can not have a pre-show, you can have matches here, matches there, matches everywhere. So those are the rules. Jack, you said to me you were going to have a show title. Have you actually got one or not?
Oh no, I had one in mind in case you brought back the show title thing.
I've brought back here.
Galactic Antics.
Galactic Antics?
Yeah.
Well, explain.
AEW X Forbidden Door. AEW X WWE Galactic Antics, because WWE Universe, Galaxy, whatever.
Great. Mine is WWE X AEW : we're off to parts unknown by God.
Ah.
It's an amalgamation of parts unknown and JR's AEW these
I
days.
said to you, can I pick a city to hold?
Yeah, I've got a city. Oh, yes. What's your city?
My city, right? I was thinking about a few, and I was thinking, do we hold it in an AEW stronghold, a WWE stronghold, if the concept exists anymore? But in the end, I settled for New York, because you've got a mixture of, well, it's the WWE's home, but also it's a renowned Smark town as well.
They're all gobby there, aren't they?
Gone for a mixture of the two, yeah.
Gobby. As for me, I don't want to give this show to Chicago because here, this modern day and age, Chicago gets everything. You've had enough Chicago, you greedy sods. So I'm taking this show to my second favourite crowd in the professional wrestling world, and that is Toronto.
Oh, very good shout.
Everyone loves Toronto. If you're doubting me about Toronto, go back and watch WrestleMania X8. They make Hogan versus Rock.
I was tempted by Atlanta, Georgia.
Oh, because of Cody.
Because of the historic battlegrounds, but it's just a big wrestling. But in the end, no, I didn't do that.
Interesting. So to kick things off with your show, are you having a kick-off show?
I'm having a one-match pre-show.
A 1 hour pre-show?
No, there's lots to build up to. So yeah, you can probably get away with 1 hour, but the match isn't going to be very long.
I'm also having a 1 hour pre-show. What's your pre-show consisting of?
My pre-show match is... Oh, we're doing announced teams as well. Do you want to do that
I'm doing everything, mate.
Do you want to do announced teams now?
Yes. Oh, do announced teams. What's your announced team?
I've got two different announced teams like they do for WWE pay-per-views. On one side, you've got Excalibur and Pat. And on the other side, we're going back in time. It's retro. We're going for Michael Cole and Taz.
Here comes the pain. Yes. As for my commentary team, both companies seem to suggest you can only have 3 commentators at the commentary booth for any professional wrestling show. That's the rules and that's how it works. So I abide to those rules. My 3 are Michael Cole on the play-by-play, Pat McAfee as the Sauce on one side, and Excalibur on Sauce on the other side. One a very saucy Sauce, another a very understated Sauce, but a very reliable Sauce. You can never...
It's the foundation sauce you put in first.
And then Pat's the spicy stuff on top of it. As for my kickoff show, though, I'm having a panel, because I'm going to draft in, and she's doing this as a favour to not only her husband, but also as a favour to the world of professional wrestling. Renee Paquette.
Oh, fantastic.
Renee Paquette will be hosting my kickoff show, and she will be joined by guests in the AEW corner, good old JR Jim Ross, and in the WWE corner, Booker T. Now, I know what you're saying about Booker T, but I like the fact that he's going to be there because he seems to not like people who work for AEW, so that's going to set the cat among the pigeons.
That's very good. I didn't think about any of that. Shall I reveal my first match?
Yes, go on. Why the hell?
Do you want me? I'll go. Yeah, I'll do it.
Your pre-show match.
My pre-show match is Hookhausen versus Alpha Academy.
Very interesting. Clash of styles.
Yeah, just a light-hearted one to entice people in further. You've got Hookhausen, you've got Gable, you've got Otis. The potential for comedy is just all over the shop. And I think we're going to reveal winners as well, aren't we?
Yes, we are. Who would win that match?
Hookhausen. They're the baby faces, and I think we'll get things off to a good happy start there, with Hook probably choking out Chad Gable or something. He's not going to be able to choke out Otis.
He might do.
Oh, I don't know.
He's
maybe.
very rangy, isn't he? Very rangy.
True. And I think it's got to be made clear at this stage, and it'll be made very clear on commentary, to avoid the situation we had at Survivor Series a few years ago. This does not count towards the final totals of either side.
Oh, so your match is yours is bringing into account totals at the end of the match.
It's a little theme that'll carry through. It's not the be all and end all. Some matches will be a bigger or slightly different thing to the running totals idea, but there will be totals. But this pre-show match does not count towards those totals.
My card is completely disregarding totals,
Fair
but I'll
enough.
reveal why with my final match. As for my pre-show match, Jack's going light-hearted and fancy and fun. I'm going bollocks out of shorts. I'm going Street Profits versus Lucha Bros in a ladder match. Do I care about the time-honoured tradition of building up through a card, starting in first gear with a nice match, up to second and third and fourth as we go up the card? No, I do not.
Wow.
We want this match to be for the professional wrestling fan, so for the professional wrestling fan this will be. There'll be no filler, it'll be all killer. And as for the winners of the match, I'm seeing Lucha Bros come out on top of that, because it will be unexpected. I expect a lot of fans heading into such a show like this will be expecting WWE to get the better of this card, by and large, because of the way they are and the way they haven't done business with other companies, apart from very recently, people appearing on shows and whatnot. They haven't done business with a lot of companies for a while, so they'll be expecting WWE just to be arseholes at the bartering table and have to win every single match. So to set the cat on the pigeons, Lucha Bros over the Street Profits in a banger of a ladder match. What's your first match of your first card?
Well, your pre-show is just yours bigger than mine there.
I'm going. We're off to the races
here.
We
are. My first match of the main portion of the show. It's a bit of a dream match, I think, and we're finally going to see it happen. It's Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks versus all three members of the New Day. Obviously, injuries don't count here. It's a six-man tag. Omega's back, Big E's back, and they just all go balls out, and I think it'll be really fun.
Video games.
There'll be loads of them.
They'll be dressed up in their cute little kitty costumes.
All of them can come out dressed as video game characters. They can all have references going on and themes that will fly way over our heads.
Yeah.
But I'm sure Matthew's Twitter will be just
all the
absolutely
signs there.
Oh my God, the
there'll be
signs.
signs for days.
So many signs. For the winner of that match, I've gone for the Elite. I think the Elite get the win over the New Day.
Any reason why?
Just to even the scores out for later on, I think. No, I think that I can see Kenny Omega winning it for his team in the end. Yeah, I don't want one of those endings the Bucks matches seem to have, where they end with the Bucks comfortably on top and they hit a big BT trigger and it's clearly over before the pinfall itself. I want this to be balls out all the way, and Omega gets the one-winged angel right at the end on
Big E.
It would be a very impressive visual if it was Big E.
Too dangerous a move for Big E so soon.
Woods.
Yeah. As well, did you find yourself struggling, or did you find yourself consciously trying to shoehorn a lot of people into the show because you're like, I've missed him off, I can't possibly miss him off?
Yes, and even with that in mind, there's still a lot of big names missing off my card.
Bobby Lashley hasn't made my card, which is the biggest omission, I would say. But this is an example of a match where I thought, I've got this match I want initially, but I've forgotten this guy. So I've shoehorned a few in here, and we're having an Intercontinental Championship 5-way with Gunther defending against Samoa Joe, AJ Styles, Adam Cole Bebe, and Claudio Castagnoli.
Oh, very nice.
That
very
is...
nice indeed.
I was initially going to stack the deck with having Gunther being the only WWE guy in there against Samoa Joe, who is All Elite. He's not Ring of Honor officially. He is All Elite. He's not Ring of Honor. Against him and Claudio Castagnoli, just having two AEW guys against the one WWE guy. But then I thought I can't have Adam Cole and AJ Styles not be on this show, so I've thrown them in there, and it'll be fantastic. But Gunther will come out with the win here because I like the fact they're going balls deep on Gunther as we're sat here currently in July of 2022. So hopefully that continues.
Who will he pin?
He will pin, in my humble opinion. It's got to be someone from the other side, hasn't it? Really, it's just for the sanctity of the pay-per-view. Yeah. So I'll go for Samoa Joe because that would be very impactful.
It would. It certainly would. I like it.
Yeah.
Even if you've admitted it's kind of your forgotten man match.
Yeah.
It's still nice.
It is nice. Yes. Nice and girthy. Nice. What are you going up for next?
The next match is for the AEW Women's Championship. It's Thunder Rosa defending against Sasha Banks. The legit boss.
Bloody hell.
Sissy Banks. She's here. in the AEW XWA zone, and I think this would they'd be a good matchup because they're both fiery characters, but they've both got the technical skills as well to back it up. And I'd like to see Sasha doing a bit of high flying, Thunder Rosa doing a bit of hard hitting, and I think that it would mesh together very nicely indeed. I know the AEW Women's title is on the show a bit early, but there's a bigger women's match later on that I didn't want to relegate down the card. So yes, Thunder Rosa versus Sasha Banks, with Sasha getting the win
and becoming AEW Women's World Champion.
I know. It would be weird, wouldn't it? If she is on her way out the door, then that's a nice way of doing it, I guess. I suppose. But yes, I think that you can't have Sasha Banks not win that match. It was just too enticing for me. What's yours?
It's funny you've got a ladies match here because I've got a ladies match in this slot as well, but mine's just a straight up singles match. No titles on the line despite the fact there is a champion involved. We saw the Forbidden Door pay-per-view that we had, for example, the Young Bucks. They were the AEW tag team champions at the time, weren't they? They were involved in a match with the belts not on the line. So I've got in this match, because it's just a match I want to bloody well see, and this is a chance for it to be seen. Bianca Belair versus Chris Statlander. For me, the two standouts, athletically speaking, of their respective divisions, they would have a barn burner, but I would have Statlander come out on top. And I don't know why. I was just looking at the two names there thinking, why not Chris Statlander? I feel like they're not really going all the way that they could do with it at the moment, but it feels like they could get there in time with the gimmick change and whatnot. But as I say, this is just more about the match itself and what these two really quick, really fast, really strong ladies can do with each other.
That's really... I'm jealous of your pick there. That's
I was jealous of yours.
Whoa, well,
bloody hell, two geniuses.
How friendly this is. We are professionals, as you said off camera.
Of course we are. Fraser asked, like, what sort of vibes it's going to be, and I was just like, two professionals.
Two professionals.
Sat there booking a wrestling card like only professionals could do. What's your fourth match?
Third? Oh, yeah, sorry, the pre-show, yes. Fourth, yes, excuse me. It's Bryan Danielson versus Riddle.
Oh.
Originally, I had a stipulation. Originally, I had them in, Riddle's pit. That he had on NXT and stuff. But then I thought, no, I want this to be in a big arena, and I just don't think that would work for the live crowd very well. So I'm just having them in a normal, straight-up singles match where they can just hit each other very hard.
Fair.
And I think it'll be nice.
It would be nice.
The winner will be Bryan Danielson, though.
Obviously.
Well,
he's the best in the world. He's the best in the world.
He is the best in the world. I thought... Riddle was one of those ones that I'd nearly left off the card, but he has built up quite a lot of head of steam recently.
That's what I was thinking. He was another one I had to shoehorn in towards the end, because you remember that Rated Arcade... Well, I keep calling them Rated Arcade Bro. Arcade Bro are one of, if not the most popular acts in WWE today, so you can't really leave them off the card, can you?
Well, I've left Randall off. I know.
But if you built a professional wrestler from the ground up, it would be him.
Yeah, I know.
My God. My fourth match of the night is a no disqualification affair. Yes, more stipulations. Sami Zayn versus Orange Cassidy. It writes itself, doesn't it, everybody? Sami Zayn playing the foil for Orange Cassidy's antics. Obviously, the best friends would be at ringside, and there would be a live performance of Jane by Jefferson Starship, whatever the hell they were called. But no disqualification match there. Not so silly as WrestleMania 38, where Sami took on Johnny Knoxville, obviously, but that's the sort of vibe I'm going with. It'll just be fantastic, wouldn't it? And the story the two could tell and the build-up to it, it would complement each other very well.
Who wins?
Orange Cassidy. AEW on the night here. Not that it matters on my card, but they're 3-1 up at the moment.
When you say it'll be no DQ, would that be in the more comedic sense or violent or both?
Both.
Yeah, fair enough.
That's what I mean. Orange Cassidy can do everything, can't he? He proved that against Will Ospreay. He can tell a story. He can do all the moves and whatnot. Sami Zayn, obviously, as while they don't let him do that today because it doesn't really suit his character as the sort of smarmy, slimy, horrible man who tries to get away with things but he's a fantastic wrestler. Go back and watch NXT back in the day, the Ring of Honors and whatnot. I think it'd just be a match that would have everything.
Fair enough.
There we go. Your fifth match of the night.
Mine is, well, we've had a few normal matches in a row, so it's time for me to throw a stipulation in as well. This is Falls Count Anywhere, no DQ, all that sort of stuff, and it's Eddie Kingston versus Kevin Owens.
Promos. Yeah,
the promos. This is as much about the build as it is the match itself. I think that Eddie Kingston, because he seems to be able to just hate anybody he needs to at the time. And he's like, I hate Punk, I hate Claudio, I hate all these. And I think his issue with Owens could be that he abandoned the indies.
Yeah.
He'd be like, you were the legend of the indies and you sold out. And even when everybody's been jumping to AEW, you stayed like a coward.
He would use the word partner as well, wouldn't he?
He would use the word what?
Partner.
Partner, yeah.
Partner, but spelt with an H in the middle. Partner.
He would be a huge, because this is in New York, he would be the huge hometown favourite. But I'm having Kevin Owens pull out the heelish win.
Right, it's in New York City. As for my 5th match, I'm going for the one that people seem to throw about willy-nilly when it comes to, potentially booking these fantasy cards. Kenny Omega versus Seth Rollins. There seemed to be a little bit of real-life beef there a couple of years ago, and one was saying, I'm the best in the world, and then Rollins would go, no, I'm the best. No, so just let's have these two lads just wrestle a straight-up singles match. Hopefully Kenny's okay, but again, that doesn't really matter because real-life implications don't count here. Kenny Omega versus Seth Rollins speaks for itself for my 5th match. No stipulations there, just a nice thing.
If this was real, and me, you and Matthew were on the podcast doing the big question, what could be the best match of the night? For that one, we'd all be going,
Oh, yes.
Except for Matthew, because he hates Seth Rollins.
Yeah, he hates them both, doesn't he? He used to hate Kenny Omega's facial expressions, didn't he?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, he wouldn't like this match at all.
No, but for that one, I mean, the head would suggest that Kenny Omega would come out on top, wouldn't he? But no, Seth Rollins is going to get the win here.
Oh, that's big.
It's going to get some sort of, not roll-up, obviously no roll-ups on this card, for goodness sake. Not one at all, but he'll get some sort of heelish victory. Once again, setting Toronto off into some sort of riot state.
Oh, yes, you're in Toronto, aren't you, of course. My next one?
Yes, 6.
My next one is 2 out of 3 falls. For all the belts involved, it's FTR versus the Usos. Was that the 2 out of 3 falls stipulation?
Oh, it was everything, because soon that might have something quite similar, but not
no.
quite.
One of my favourite matches ever is DIY versus FTR, 2 out of 3 falls.
Yeah.
So I just want to kind of recapture the magic of that with this one, but also with the possibility of the Usos trying to cheat as well to win, maybe going 1 fall up or something. But eventually it's FTR who pull out the victory and win all the belts. I don't know what that means.
How many more do they need?
Oh, well, yeah, I know, exactly. But they deserve it, because they are probably my favourite tag team of the modern age. They're very, very good. And they do deserve it. So
And
yes.
they are probably the most on fire here today, aren't they?
One thing I've been thinking about, have you thought about this, or am I just taking this too seriously, is will the crowd burn out at any point in this non-existent pay-per-view?
If anything, Chicago proved it's possible for the crowd to be at a certain level all evening long. Because as we were dreading it, weren't we, when we realised how long the card was, thinking, oh my God, it's going to be 5 hours.
Yeah.
But watching the show, just because it was such good wrestling from start to finish, it is possible to have a show that long and to sort of not feel that way. So I'm banking on similar vibes with my card, hopefully. Hopefully it doesn't drag on too long.
No, fair enough.
But as for my 6th match, I'm going to have a 6-man tag, the light versus the dark, the positive versus the negative. The New Day, all 3 members, Big E's back here, versus the House of Black.
Oh, very good.
Because it just sort of writes itself, doesn't it?
Yes, is Xavier Woods still scared of spooky things?
Absolutely not. This is in 2015 where he's scared of Bray Wyatt. He's going to go up to Brody King and give him a nipple cripple, because that was the highlight of Forbidden Door, and that'll be one of the highlights of my show here. As for the winners, just because it's got to happen, obviously, the New Day would win.
Okay.
Otherwise, what hope do we have in life?
The kids would be crying in their seats. Yeah, you can't have that.
No, not at all. So the New Day for the win there. It would just be a fantastic match, as we all know. Should we just ban ourselves from saying that? Just saying it would be a fantastic match. We all know it would be. That's why we've booked it. What's your 7th match of the evening? Out of 12, by the way. We're rattling through.
This is my big multi-man match of the night. It's a ladder match for a shot at either world title, and it's just an excuse for loads of lads to chuck each other off ladders and stuff. Sammy Guevara, Darby Allin, and Rey Fenix. They're the 3. There's 6 in the match. 3 from AEW. They're the 3 AEW ones. The WWE trio: AJ Styles, Finn Balor, and Ricochet. Ooh. Now I know that Ricochet he's recently been squashed for the IC title and stuff, but I just want him in this match. You can't have this match and not have Ricochet in it. But the winner, getting a match at either world title of his choosing, is AJ Styles. I went for AJ because I thought he deserves to kind of be recognised as a pioneer in many ways of high-flying wrestling in the 2000s. So I think he should probably win this one. And I think that would be quite a positive result. So I think people wouldn't mind that.
Well, people like AJ Styles, don't they?
He's a pitbull.
That's why I shoehorned him into one of my matches at the last moment there.
Yes.
As for my 7th match, I'm going down the tag team route now. A tag team match for all 3 major tag team championships across AEW and WWE. It's the one they haven't done yet. It's the Usos versus the Young Bucks.
Oh, right. I thought I'd totally stolen your pick.
Oh, we had all the belts involved.
All the belts as well, yeah.
So I've got all the belts, but a different kind involved in this one with the Usos. Obviously holding all the tag team titles in WWE. The Bucks have currently got the World Tag Team Championships in AEW. As for the winners, because those bloody Bucks get their own way most of the time, we're going to go for the Bloodline to have all of the titles.
I like that a lot.
One day, one-ish, and all that sort of bollocks. So Jack, after that lovely camera cut and wonderful break had by all, what's your 8th match of the night?
My 8th match of the night, so I'll just refresh what's happened at my show, now we're jumping back. So we just had that big ladder match, right? And I'm thinking, well, everyone will be a bit, wow, what can top that? So this isn't a break match, this is it's a novelty match. And it's going to take us into phase 2 of the evening. It's Orange Cassidy versus Brock Lesnar. No, don't laugh.
No, I'm laughing because that was a match I had down initially, but then I changed my mind.
Oh, really? Did you
I
actually?
didn't have the bottle to present that in front of a watching audience.
Well, I did. So, Brock Lesnar would win, but just think of the moment when Orange Cassidy starts hitting him with Superman punches and that sort of thing.
My rationale was as well, Brock Lesnar always has his best matches against a smaller man.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking as well. Your Finn Balor's, your AJ Styles.
Bryan Danielson's.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
That one was terrifying. He dropped him on his head lots of times.
He bloody did.
But yes, Orange Cassidy versus Brock Lesnar. Brock's also the best when he's got banter, and I think I can just picture him in the sunglasses at one point if they fit his head, because he's a much bigger man. But yes, I think that match is too good to pass up on, but Brock Lesnar gets the win. What's your next match?
No, it's weird that you've mentioned Brock Lesnar there, because Brock Lesnar, honestly, we didn't converse before
really
this match, didn't we?
no.
Yeah, but in my 8th slot is Brock Lesnar, but Brock Lesnar is going to take on God's favourite champion, Miro.
Okay. Yes. It's a meaty match. Big E will be watching this in the monitor backstage.
Rock hard, won't he? Because these two big men will slap all kinds of big meat. Because Miro is way better than Rusev was. I've said it, and he'll be more of a challenge for Brock Lesnar, who will win the match anyway.
Oh, I really thought you were going to go for Miro.
I'd love to, but you know, we can say fantasy booking, but we've got to keep things slightly in the realms of reality. So I don't think Brock Lesnar would lose the match.
Maybe in a year or two, depending on maybe that'll be a more realistic prospect.
Yeah,
depending on how Miro's trajectory goes.
But it's another one that speaks for itself. Just two big men slapping all kinds of meat.
Yes.
Your 9th match of the night.
MJF versus John Cena.
Oh dear.
Oh, delicious.
What sort of fan fiction did you read before coming in here today?
This is the good guy versus bad guy, the ultimate heel versus face. Shenanigans-filled match, probably, with MJF pulling out every trick in the book and eventually successfully toppling John Cena, and then not shutting up about it for the rest of his career. He'll bring that up all the time. I'm the man who beat John Cena. But would New York like it? They probably would. It's New York.
Well, he's from Long Island.
From Long Island.
The Long Island.
It's New York, and they're smarks.
Yeah. Cena sucks and all that sort of stuff. I didn't put MJF on my card at all because he's dead to me.
Fair enough, yeah.
He's dead. As long as he's in this purgatory, wherever he's at, on his holiday island, whatever he's on, he's dead to me. So he's not on my card because he's done a bad thing, maybe. I don't know. Who knows what to believe? But my 9th match of the night will be for the AEW Championship. This is down the line after CM Punk has defeated Jon Moxley in the title versus title match, which is undoubtedly going to happen. But we have Kevin Owens on one side of the ring with Chris Jericho, who is reconciled with his former best friend as they now have a common enemy. You know, because Chris Jericho keeps on saying, that should have been my shot, where CM Punk had the shot for the title. And obviously they now have the enemy of my enemy is my friend. Okay. Therefore, they're back together as friends. We're going to have all sorts of hilarity with the donkey and the goat, like the good old days of 2016/17. And he'll be taking on, this is Kevin Owens, obviously taking on CM Punk. And obviously Jericho would get involved and whatnot. But somehow, some way, CM Punk would come out on top and retain the AEW Championship, because I can't see a championship of that prestige hopping the forbidden window.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, no, I like it. It's one I've not thought about, actually. Yeah. Would Jericho and Owens turn on each other in the end after the defeat? But
we have to say what would happen, wouldn't we?
Yeah,
but there's a case to be made for Chris Jericho to get involved in the finish. Kevin Owens not liking that, and then just dropping him on the apron like he did at WrestleMania.
God. And Vince hated it.
Vince hated it, yeah. Not good, but there we go. Because you haven't got Chris Jericho on your card, have you?
I've not got Jericho on my card, no.
That was the only way I could think to get him in there, because I'm not really asked to... You say that, you're not really asked about seeing Jericho wrestle, but then you think back to Forbidden Dawn, one of his match was one of the matches of the night.
Yeah, I love that match.
Yeah.
And his one against Eddie Kingston the preview before. So, but sometimes it's just the presence of Jericho rather than the matches of Jericho. Yeah. So I agree with that. My next match is a submission match. It's the stipulation I've gone for here. It's Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, versus Becky Lynch.
The old lockjaw versus the arm bar.
Yes.
Disarm her.
Lots of attitude being taken into this one. Think this similar to Eddie Kingston and Kevin Owens earlier on my show. This is about the promos as much as it is the eventual match. But I've got to give the win to Becky Lynch. As much as I wanted to see Britt Baker, it would define her career if she'd be Becky Lynch, but I couldn't do it. I've got to give it to Becky Lynch.
It makes complete sense as well.
The only issue I've got with this one is it's heel versus heel. But I think the crowd would cheer for Becky.
Oh, Becky, we say this all the time, don't we? Becky's not really a heel, is she? Everyone's cheering. I know she's popular. She's being a heel, but she's not really a heel, is she? Because everyone loves her. Bit of a chalk and cheese for my pick here, compared to yours in match slot number 10, because for the the WWE Undisputed Championship, I'm having a death match. Roman Reigns against Jon Moxley.
Oh.
Not an exploding barbed wire thing, nothing like that, where some things can go wrong because someone hits the button or didn't load the pyro properly. Just a straight up, your Mick Foley's and your Cactus Jacks and your Terry Foley's, that kind of death match. Just to see, because obviously Moxley wants to get, like Miro to Rusev to Miro, Ambrose to Moxley's been a massive step up. I don't care what you say, in my opinion anyway. So Moxley taking on Reigns in a normal singles match, you still would be thinking, it'd be a very good match, but you still expect the Tribal Chief to come out on top. So to put a bit more doubt in people's mind, bring a bit of Moxley's wheelhouse into this one, so have Roman Reigns contest in a death match, and have it branded as a death match. WWE death match.
I like it because it's Roman in uncharted territory.
Yeah,
buddy. Yeah, he's great, the big and strong and that, but can he get down and dirty?
Can he do it on a cold winter's night at Stoke away? Yes, he can, because he wins.
Oh. But I love the storyline going into it, with Moxley being the one who left, Roman being the one who stayed.
Yeah.
And yes, I like that a lot.
There we go.
We've got two lefties.
Two lefties.
And your title matches, your AEW title match is already...
So I've had a normal singles match for the AEW, I've had a big bollocks death match for the
you've had both your main titles out of the way, but you still got two matches left?
Two matches left, because these two matches, the stipulations, they couldn't be anywhere else but the very top of the card.
Well, my penultimate match is for the AEW World Championship, but it involves the WWE Champion Roman Reigns, but I think he'll pull some sort of Heyman bollocks before that, saying, I'm not defending my title on this pathetic show. So instead, only the AEW World title is on the line. Similar to yours, it's after Punk's beating Moxley. It's a fatal four-way match, and the longest match of the night, I think, because there's so many interactions that can be had. It's Punk versus Moxley versus Rollins versus Reigns. So it's Punk and The Shield, who, in kayfabe, he brought in to the WWE. He made them stars, and then they've all gone off in wildly different directions, and I just really enjoy the idea of all the different interactions. I love that Rollins-Reigns match from not too long ago with Rollins bringing back the Shield. Yeah, not too long ago. Six months ago. And also, one of like, I think the biggest wasted opportunities WWE threw away in the past few years was the Shield triple threat. Yeah. They had it on like a Backlash or a No Mercy or something.
They did that bit of Money in the Bank as well, but they didn't have the proper match, did they? Until
they could have main evented WrestleMania. Yeah. Should have done. So that's mine, but Punk retains the belt in the end.
Shows those young whippersnappers what's for.
Similarly to you, I was too scared to have one of the big titles cross the line, even though this is totally... We're such cowards, even though this is
You had one of them cross the line, didn't you?
I had the women's one cross the line,
that's a big one.
Yes, you're right, that is true. But I was too scared to have Punk lose the belt to WWE.
Oh, yeah. He could never live that one down, could he?
No, he couldn't.
Next up, right, so sit down, everybody, because I've been watching Armageddon 2000 recently.
Oh, here we go.
8-woman Hell in a Cell match for the AEW Women's Championship. Thunder Rosa walks in as champion versus Charlotte Flair versus Britt Baker with Rebel and Jamie Hayter in her corner, but not in the match, obviously. Versus Becky Lynch versus Jade Cargill with Stokely Hathaway and the baddies in her corner versus Sasha Banks versus Toni Storm versus Asuka.
Oh.
Tell me that would be bad. I dare you.
No, it wouldn't be bad.
Is there 8 cooks in this particular kitchen? Yes, there is. Is there a saying?
Cooks.
Is there a saying that maybe suggests that too many cooks, they spoil the broth? Or whatever the old saying is? Yes, that's a thing.
Not in this case.
But not in this case, because to a lady, they're all absolutely fantastic in their own way. You might be thinking, who the hell will be coming out on top in that one? That barn burner. That thing where Jade Cargill gets thrown off the top into a sawdusty lorry.
I was going to say, who takes the Rikishi bump, right? It's Jade Cargill.
Yeah, it just lands on Stokely, just flattens him. He'd sell it well, so he would. Yeah. But I'm going to go for this to be the vehicle to have Toni Storm take the title off of Thunder Rosa.
Oh, wow.
Because once again, I couldn't be ballsy enough to have the championship of this ilk cross the line.
And on the podcast afterwards, if we were dissecting this, Matthew would... I need to stop saying this. I've only done it once before in this video, but Matthew would be like, well, of course, Toni Storm never loses. Even though since he said that, she's lost a lot of times. Yeah.
But there we go. I'll just repeat that for you. 8 women Hell in a Cell match. Number 12, your main event of the evening.
My main event, we're going to dim the lights and bring them back up. It's an unsanctioned match. In classic fashion, you've not done the same, have you?
No.
It's a lights out or unsanctioned match in the Gargano style.
Does this count towards your nights totals?
It turns out that it wasn't going to, I don't think, but they're drawing to. I think the scores are tied. So Tony and whoever's in charge of WWE at this point get together and agree in a backstage segment that this is for all the marbles, even though it's unsanctioned. Or it could be a cop-out. If neither side wants to lose politically, then it's a draw at the end. Yeah, either way, whichever way you want. But it's an unsanctioned match between Cody Rhodes, representing WWE, making his entrance, I like to think, in a property of WWE t-shirt, full heel Cody against the man I consider to be the heart and soul of AEW, which is Hangman Adam Page.
This is interesting. This is very interesting.
And I've got to give Hangman the win.
Oh!
I know, just a big happy
Just to show
ending.
Cody was wrong to up sticks and leave.
No, I just think it's a nice story. Hangman was the man who, overcame all this and finally triumphed. Cody took the opposite path and went back to WWE. I think Hangman's got to get the win at the end. And maybe celebrate with the Dark Order, because I don't like how they've been... phased out.
Would Alan come back for one night only?
Yeah, Alan would come back.
That's the main
Stu.
thing. Yeah. Oh, Stu left as well,
Has
didn't he?
Alan gone as well?
Alan went to Impact, didn't he?
Bring them all back.
Alan, 5 Angels.
Bring them all back.
There we go. Cody would cry in that match, wouldn't he?
They'd all have everyone
Oh,
cry.
man. Even the crowd as well.
Excalibur. Not Taz. Taz wouldn't cry. Taz would be fine on commentary.
So for my main event of the night, it's Team WWE versus Team AEW. In a 5-on-5, we're off to parts unknown, by God, winner takes all elimination match. That's why my card, in totality, doesn't count on scores and then totals of scores and all that sort of stuff. This is where it's all on the line. Winner takes all. In the build, obviously, we must have rah-rah speeches from both Vince McMahon or someone who's running the company, whoever, Stephanie,
Nick
whoever's
Khan.
running. Nick Khan. A rah-rah speech from Nick Khan and his brother, Tony, to ensure all people are on the same
It's
page.
a card in every corner.
Oh, God. It's like WrestleMania and Survivor Series of 2000 and 2001 and what, it doesn't matter. But I'm going to have, representing Team WWE, we have the team captain, Cody Rhodes.
Okay.
Because obviously the seeds have been sown. He's jumped the divide. He's got to be the captain. He's teaming with Drew McIntyre, Rated RKO, and the ultimate company man himself, who makes a shocking appearance in the night. Let's just say it for the big pop reasons. John Cena.
Nice.
There's Team WWE, and they're taking on AEW, who's captained by, and you wouldn't guess who it is after your main event. It's bloody Hangman Page, isn't it?
Right.
We didn't. This is amazing. This.
Yeah.
It just
We're
shows
really
you
good.
two professional
We're both
minds.
Really good.
So Hangman Page is joined by Bryan Danielson, because I think that's an interesting guy to have in there, because obviously he worked there for so long, now he's on the other side. Then they're joined by FTR, once again, similarly worked there for years, but now they're fully, I'd say they've overshadowed everything they did in WWE, those two, especially. So they don't really count as like, I know they are former WWE guys, but they're not really like, oh, that's just the WWE version in AEW, if you know what I mean. They've far gone above and beyond what they did there. And to have a wild card of the piece and a fully AEW original through and through in this big 5-on-5, we're off to parts unknown, by God, winner takes all elimination match. The 5th member of Team AEW will be Hook.
Oh, what? He's on my pre-show. What's happening?
Bloody brilliant, I tell you. Bloody brilliant. But the winners of this match, much like Jack, I've had AEW go over here, because I like to think this could be a yearly thing if people just get their affairs in order and just sit around a table, have a nice glass of rosé or something and just thrash things out. So they'll have AEW win the first one, because they will be the underdog heading into the piece. And obviously WWE can get their own back in a year's time. So there we have it. Winner takes all, just like Survivor Series 01, 5-on-5. Who would pin who for the win? You'd have to have Cody taking the fall, but who would give the fall? Hook.
And it's full elimination as well.
Full elimination.
Hook survives to the end.
Yes.
He's fighting.
But they're all on the outside for the early parts,
Banging
aren't they?
on the mat. Oh, right, sorry. I thought you meant watching on. Cheering on Hook.
So there we go. Owen, if you wouldn't mind flashing up our entire cards on the screen now. And now it's up to you, dear viewer, to go down to the comments down below. Look at those cards, aren't they lovely? Isn't match 5 fantastic? Isn't match 6 a Bobby Dazzler? What about match 12? You never saw that coming, did you? Tell us who has the better card in the comments down below, and the winner will be able to go home to their families and say they are the best booker of a fantasy card between AEW and WWE, and their parents will look on with disgust. Any closing remarks?
I honestly think, and I'm amazed that there's the similarities that we've both come up with, but I'm delighted that we've both booked shows in different ways. They ebb and flow in different ways. No, I'm being serious,
Mine's just like,
man.
for 5 hours long.
I like how we've gone for very different crescendos at the end, even though it involves Cody and Hangman both. I like the differences, and I think that we've both done ourselves and our families proud as well.
Yes, up the Tweddles and up the Kings. Let us know who's the best down below. Thank you for watching. Also, let us know what your dream matches are. Did we forget anybody? Am I an arsehole for leaving off Darby Allin? Probably, who knows?
The engagement in this comment. People can't resist.
I know.
They're going to be, the
We're going to
comment
get
section.
death threats the lot. I can't wait. Bring it on, daddies. I've been Ross, he's been Jack, and we'll see you next time. I don't know when.